Sarah, chatting with you over the years, reading your books, you're somebody that thinks different in a big way. And I'm just curious, where does that come from? Can you trace that back to your childhood, or where does that come from? You're unique. It's beautiful, but where does that stem from?
Um, oh, that's made me a little bit emotional. That because that's a realization I've had to come to in the last couple of years. I have not. I have. I've lived on the sort of slightly off on my own path, but I've tried to fit in. I spent my life trying to fit in. I mean, I was the editor of Cosmopolitan. Is there anything more mainstream than that? And then I worked for Rupert Murdoch for many years. I mean, I've done a lot of very mainstream kind of, I've done a lot of that kind of stuff. And so I spent my life trying to fit in, and it's only in recent years that I've allowed myself to embrace, I guess, my weirdness. It's only I wasn't aware of it until now. I just felt incredibly disjointed and unhappy. I think that did it come from my childhood to a certain extent? My family wasn't necessarily intellectual, or I come from a big family, but I was always yearning outwards. So within my family I was a black sheep, much accepted by my brothers in particular, like my brothers and my sister. They let me be who I was. um, but I would say there's a little bit, I don't know, I suppose I've got to look back and go, I mean, I was diagnosed with bipolar at 21, but I can look back and see that those characteristics, those traits, were in place when I was 7 or 8. I sort of know I was that person back then because, you hear the family stories, and I remember certain things, and I remember expressions on adults' faces when I used to say things. So I know that I was probably like that when I was quite young. It wasn't nurtured or fostered in my family. I think my parents didn't really know what to do with it. And they did the best they could, absolutely did the best they could. But so I don't know I don't have an answer for that. All I can say is that I feel like I've arrived, you know. I wish I'd arrived earlier, but then, and it would have been nice not to have gone through so much grief to get here. But I suppose it's a little bit like Greta. She's found the right epoch to be engaged. And in some ways, the cause, whatever impact I can make in this cause, then that will be fulfilling, and the fulfillment has enabled me to arrive. And I have actually found it very, very helpful to read the works of other women throughout history, women in particular, because they've generally had to overcome a lot more stereotypes to lift into this space of care or radical care. But one person who's of our era, I suppose, is Jane Fonda. And she's become an incredible, I mean, she's always been an activist, but her climate work has been really powerful. And I heard an interview with her, and she said that, look, when you're a woman, you reach sort of your later years and your estrogen drops off. And basically what it means is that all that attention you put into caring about everybody else and trying to make sure everything's fine and everybody's got enough food and water and whatever, that starts to drop off. And you can steer that attention to other things. And because you've actually lived a life where you're having to juggle so many things, you've got actually even more attention that you can put to it. And I think that that happens for a lot of women as they sort of hit their later years and their hormones shift, and they suddenly have this renewed energy to become who they've always wanted to be. And so I think that's played a role, certainly. I can feel it. And you may have to beat this, but, I have less fucks to give about the wrong things and a whole lot more to give about the right things. And I can feel that it's almost like a hormonal thing, to be honest. Yeah.